Hot summer topic number 7, choosing high-quality instructional materials for beginning readers.
Hello! First things first, thank you. Kudos to all educators who are pouring their hearts and souls into turning every challenge into an opportunity right now. Words cannot express the thanks that educators deserve. I am Tara Galloway, K-3 Literacy Director at the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction. I am excited to share hot summer topic number 7 with you today, choosing high-quality instructional materials for beginning readers. This topic lives at the very center of priorities when considering raising student achievement. Vastly improved reading outcomes are within reach if we teach our young scholars to read in the way that the mountain of cognitive research shows that their brain can learn to read. 95% can learn to read regardless of socioeconomic status, ethnicity, or parental influence. We are 100% committed and dedicated to building capacity and increasing knowledge of the cognitive science research. Our priority for literacy instruction using high-quality instructional materials aligned with the cognitive science is one of the most important levers for equity and opportunity for students. Now is the time to focus on literacy. Let's get started with high-quality instructional materials for beginning readers.
In this session on high-quality instructional materials, we will walk through the what, why, and how. What high-quality instructional materials are, why they are important, how to evaluate, and 4 traits of high-quality foundational reading skills materials. Let's start with what are high-quality instructional materials. Instructional materials refers to literacy textbooks, curriculum, digital resources, and any other instructional content. To be considered high quality, these materials should not only align with the state standards, but should also align to the science of how the brain learns to read. The simple view of reading, a theoretical model developed by Goff and Tunmer, emphasizes that in order to comprehend what is read, readers must have the ability to decode the words as well as comprehend the language of the text. High-quality instructional materials for literacy should address both aspects of the simple view, word recognition or decoding, and language comprehension. Why are high-quality instructional materials important? There is one thing teachers never have enough of: time. Time is the greatest commodity in education, and yet teachers' time is often spent searching Google or Pinterest for curriculum materials. RAND's 2017 analysis of the American Teacher Panel found that 96% of teachers use Google and 75% use Pinterest to find lessons and materials. This is hours of time spent by teachers trying to align materials and lessons to standards, searching databases where the effectiveness of lessons and materials is unknown. In fact, one report found that teachers spend 7 hours per week searching for instructional resources and an additional 5 hours each week creating materials themselves. Even more staggering is that time spent searching for resources may produce activities that have no research base that they are effective. When teachers are providing students with full-time instruction while simultaneously trying to create an entire curriculum for those same students, it's no wonder that alignment to standards, adequate background knowledge, and rigorous instructional design are difficult to maintain. This is a heavy burden for the teacher to carry alone, and not their responsibility to do so. Not surprisingly, there are very real consequences. In a recent report, it was discovered that students are graduating, but many lack skills to be successful in college or their career. The Opportunity Myth by the New Teacher Project, or TNPT, found that students succeeded in 71% of the assignments they were given. However, only 17% of those exact same assignments met grade level standards. This means that students can do the work they are given, but the work they are given isn't often meeting grade level standards. students do not have the opportunity to show that they can meet grade level expectations. The same study found that for students missing knowledge or skills, access to grade level tasks increased performance by as much as 7.3 more months of learning. There is a resounding consensus that teachers are in no way to blame. According to the National Council on Teacher Quality, the 4 pillars to reading success, teachers should not be expected to implement their own approach to teaching reading. They need experts to curate approaches, curricula, and materials that are research-based, field-tested, and revised based on student performance. Leaders in the field agree. In the hidden mistake school leaders should avoid this year, Jared Miracle said, "Misaligned material is not the fault of the teachers. They simply aren't provided the type of training in curriculum design needed to prevent these missteps." Dr. Kate Gerson, CEO of Unbound Ed, has stated, "Adopting an aligned curriculum is the #1 way to stop all the confusion and extra labor that is currently placed on teachers. Providing a roadmap that is comprehensive and coherent is game-changing." Research agrees with her. Evidence indicates that instructional materials have a significant effect on student outcomes. Now that we understand why high-quality instructional materials are important, let's discuss how to determine if the materials being used are high quality. Here are a few suggestions. Know the research. It is important to determine if the instructional materials align to current evidence-based research that addresses how the brain learns to read. Therefore, you must know the science and the evidence of how the brain becomes a reading brain. Know the parameters of effective reading instruction. Before choosing any literacy materials, seek clarity around what specific content and practices should be included in reading instruction by using research-based materials such as the IES Practice Guide, Foundational Skills to Support Reading for Understanding in Kindergarten through 3rd grade. Check out independent reviews of materials. There is a vast array of materials available, and many of these materials have been reviewed by organizations such as Evidence for ESSA, the nonprofit Student Achievement Partners, What Works Clearinghouse, RAND's Promising Practices Network, and the nonprofit Ed Reports. Take some time to investigate the conclusions drawn by these independent reviews. Consider using curriculum review protocols. Protocols guide the review of curriculum and help individuals assess the quality of the proposed materials. Links to curriculum review protocols from the Ed Reports, IES, and NCTQ are in your guided notes handout. For beginning readers, it is critical that they receive instruction aligned to the foundational skills in reading standards. These standards will address the word recognition part of the simple view of reading. When students master the alphabetic principle and words are recognizable on sight with automaticity, they have a strong foundation for accessing increasingly complex text. Therefore, it is vital that instruction in foundational reading skills meets grade level standards and is based in current evidence-based research. Let's explore 4 traits found in high-quality instructional materials. There are 4 traits of high-quality foundational skills materials. Trait number 1. Quality materials include all components of foundational skills. Foundational reading skills include print concepts, phonological awareness, phonics, word recognition, and fluency. When looking for high-quality curriculum and materials, it should be evident that each of these foundational skills is present in the overall scope and sequence, as well as in lessons. Let's consider an example using a K-5 Reading Language Arts rubric from the Institute of Education Sciences. The rubric states that one criteria for measuring the quality of material is that phonemic awareness instruction follows a developmental progression, such as phoneme isolation, blending, segmentation, and deletion. Remember, as we learned in Hot Summer topic number 3, that phonemic awareness skills are part of the broader umbrella term phonological awareness, making phonemic awareness a vital foundational reading skill that cannot be left out of daily instruction until students achieve mastery. The scope and sequence of the materials you are evaluating includes phonemic awareness. However, as you examine the lessons closely, there is no evidence of advanced phonemic awareness instruction. This is problematic because, according to the research base, leaving out even one skill can make it more difficult to develop the foundation needed to become a skilled reader. Advanced phonemic awareness, which is the ability to manipulate phonemes through deletion, substitution, and addition, in particular, helps determine a child's responsiveness to phonics instruction. According to Dr. David Kilpatrick, advanced phonemic awareness activities provide educators with insight into whether a child can segment sounds effortlessly, which is the level of phonemic proficiency needed to have success building fluency through phonics instruction. Therefore, if lessons in a curriculum never explicitly teach advanced phonemic awareness, the materials are not addressing all of the critical foundational skills needed for successful reading. When materials or curriculum do not include all components of foundational skills, it may be necessary to use more than one evidence-based program, or to supplement the core program being used with one that fills in any missing foundational pieces. Trait number 2, quality materials have research-based scope and sequence. The scope and sequence of a program or curriculum is the map that makes clear how you will get to your destination. It provides insight into how the materials build upon one another over time and the amount of material that will be covered in a school year. Although there is no single accepted scope and sequence in the field, there should be a clear progression of skills that are grade appropriate and move from simple to more complex linguistic constructions. For example, when and how are sounds and letters introduced? Does the scope and sequence suggest the teacher pick and choose, or is it based in research, introducing single, predictable consonants such as M, S, T, L, P first, followed by predictable short vowel sounds? Trait number 3, quality materials offer systematic and explicit instruction. Systematic instruction is sequenced instruction that builds upon prior knowledge and moves from simple to complex. Think about learning to play a guitar. After your instructor teaches you the 3 basic chords, G, C, and D, how would you feel if the music you were given to play also included the chords A and E, which you never practiced? And you were told when you get to a chord you don't know, try to push different strings and listen to figure out the right sound. In this same way, literacy instruction must follow a systematic and sequential process. If we teach specific sounds or phonics rules, those sounds and rules should be in the words the students read during connected text. For example, if students have learned letter sounds represented by N, R, S, L, A, T, P, C, and the irregular words the and was, then the sentence, "The rat ran past the cat," is appropriate for practice because it includes the letter sounds and the irregular words they have learned. Explicit instruction is a way of teaching that uses clear, intentional, and engaging instruction that is delivered with scaffolded supports and many opportunities for students to respond, receive feedback, and purposefully practice the skills. Going back to our music example, learning to play the guitar requires the instructor to explicitly model finger placement and strumming techniques, giving multiple chances for practicing and providing immediate feedback. In this same way, effective literacy instruction is taught explicitly. For a more in-depth overview of explicit instruction, see Hot Summer Topics number 2 in this series. Trait number 4, quality materials provide aligned assessments and multiple review opportunities. Thinking broadly, the purpose of assessment is to determine what knowledge or skills does one have. When teachers understand what students do and do not know, instructional decisions on planning for the next lesson or reviewing the previous lesson become clearer. As Dr. Kimyana Burke recently stated in the K-3 Literacy sponsored webinar on high-quality instructional materials, providing PD to teachers on how to use data to make instructional decisions is one of the best skills you can help to develop. When reviewing instructional materials, ask yourself 3 questions. How is student progress toward outcomes measured, both in lessons and across units? Does the assessment content align with what was just taught and include previously learned concepts? How well does the assessment align to content standards? By ensuring assessments are aligned to instruction, teachers can determine how well students are mastering content and what areas need more support. Although assessments are important, as we just mentioned, passing an assessment is not the ultimate goal of learning to read. Comprehension is. Even after students demonstrate mastery of skills on assessments, strong literacy instruction continually provides opportunities to practice and review previously learned skills, as opposed to moving on to the next skill. Maintenance of skills happens over time and is supported through distributed practice and review. Thinking about it another way, 5% of students find learning to read quite easy. 20 to 30% of students find learning to read relatively easy. 30 to 40% of students find learning to read difficult. 20 to 30% of students find learning to read a formidable challenge. That means about 50 to 70% of students will find learning to read difficult or challenging. When we look at data on how much practice students need to learn something new, students who are struggling need up to 20 times the practice as peers in the average range. The more we embed practice into daily routines, the more opportunities all students have to learn and master the content. Well-developed literacy materials systematically sequence skills to build on themselves and provide multiple opportunities to continue to practice those skills until they are generalized and maintained. You may be asking yourself, where do I go from here? A first next step is to review the tools to evaluate instructional materials, which you can find on this Padlet, or by visiting the Read to Achieve reading repository and pick the tool that aligns with your school or your district needs. Thank you for watching the Hot Summer Topic number 7, Choosing High Quality Instructional Materials for Beginning Readers. Please remember to share this video with colleagues and friends.